So last December, I spent a month in Taipei as a digital nomad and I loved every second of it. Well, there were some really good highlights and there were some also cons as well, which I'll go through in this video. But I'm gonna first go through all the things I loved about Taiwan, and then I'll also let you know about some of the downsides that you can find if you're a long-term digital nomad in Taipei. A little bit about me. I'm a digital nomad that's been doing this full-time since February 2022, and I started off in South America and then I went to Europe and then now I'm in Asia, and I've been in Asia since December, and right now I'm in Bali. I'll be launching videos every single week about different places I've been and some of the tips I have along the way as a digital nomad. So Taipei is literally food heaven. You'll find amazing Taiwanese food, which is honestly my favorite type of food. Even after I left Taipei, I still try to eat Taiwanese food even when I'm in Malaysia or in other places in Asia. I just really love how they make their food, especially the signature dish luroufan, which is just braised pork on top of rice. It just tastes so good and you have to try it if you're ever in Taiwan. There's some really famous night markets in Taiwan like Raohe and Lijiang night market. Every night you could go to a night market and eat all of the amazing foods in one night if you wanted to. So they're famous for their xiaolongbao, luroufan, guabao, and chicken nuggets, like fried chicken, bubble tea of course, and a lot of desserts as well. There's also a lot of really nice cafes that you can get your work done, and they're really innovative, really cute, and you can get really nice desserts and drinks. The only thing is that the drinks there are about the same price as in North America, so I didn't really feel like I was saving money when I was going to the cafes there. But they do have really nice cat cafes as well, which I spend a lot of time in because I love cats. And in general, there's fast and reliable internet, so you won't be disappointed if you're doing all of your work online. So the locals there are really friendly. You can always ask anyone there for help. The only thing is they're not exactly the best at English. Most people speak a little bit of English, but their primary language is Mandarin. So for me, that wasn't an issue because I speak Mandarin fluently. But if you are a native English speaker and you don't speak Mandarin, then it might be a little bit difficult to get around. The transportation is so easy that you almost don't really need to speak the language. So the MRT system is really well built out. There's like 10 different lines that you can take and they're all color coded, and you can basically search up where you want to go with Google Maps before you go somewhere, and you'll be able to navigate yourself there as long as you are able to read the signs. So it's also a really safe place and there's not a lot of crime, so I felt super safe there even when I was going home really late at night. Furthermore, there were a lot of art museums, cultural parks, and night markets that I could check out, so I never really ran out of things to do. There were even a lot of nightclubs in the Xinyi area if you wanted to go out for a night. It's just a lot of options for things to do in Taiwan because it's a pretty well-developed city, so it's pretty big as well, a lot of different areas you can check out. So let me talk about some of the downsides to being a digital nomad in Taipei. Since Taipei is not as affordable as places like Thailand, Vietnam, or Bali, basically around $2,500 a month according to Nomad list. So I didn't know this before, but like when I went to Thailand, I realized that I met way more people so much more easily than I did in Taiwan. And that's because Taiwan is not really a place that backpackers go to. So you won't be able to meet as many people who are backpacking or digital nomading unless you're going to a meetup or some sort of established meetup event. So it was harder to meet people organically. And the way that I met people when I was in Taiwan was that I was a part of this Facebook group called Subtle Asian Travels. And on that group, there were people in all these different countries. So I made a post on there saying I will be in Taiwan around this time to this time. And people kind of created a group chat where we all did things together and met up. And that was the main way that I actually met people. So if you didn't have a way to meet people online, I would suggest living at a hostel, although I didn't really meet that many people at my hostel either. There were mostly local people staying at my hostel, so that's one of the downsides to Taipei, is that if you're looking to meet a lot of people and meet a lot of people from diverse backgrounds, it's a little bit harder to do that. There weren't a lot of people who were from North America because in order to do that time zone, you would have to either work the night shift or have your own business. So I mainly met people who were locals or had their own business online or were taking a month-long vacation. So there weren't as many people who were doing the same thing as I did. And that brings me to one of the cons. As a digital nomad that was having a long online job in the PST time zone, because I'm from Vancouver, it was very difficult to keep up with the schedule. So I was working from around 11 or 10 p.m. all the way until 6 or 7 a.m. And honestly, I ended up hating my job and just not wanting to work for that company anymore because I loved the environment being in Taiwan. The only thing was that I just couldn't work in that time zone. Being in the same time zone as PST means that I had to work all throughout the night doing the graveyard shift, and that was super unsustainable. So the other downside is that the summers can get really hot there. So I think the best time to visit Taipei is probably around September to October. That's when the temperature is just right and you're not gonna be overheated, or in the winter sometimes it gets really rainy and gloomy all the time. So when I was there in December, it was kind of like rainy and gloomy all the time because it was the winter season and it was a little bit cold too. So once I got there, I had to buy some thicker clothing because I was expecting to be warm all the time, which is not really the case in Taiwan in the winters. So you're gonna have to prepare yourself for the season if you're going in the winter. So while I was there, I also happened to catch the Taipei Blockchain Week, which was the first year that it happened in 2022. And I met so many people through that conference. It was one of the best ways I made friends there because people were flying from all over the world, and I met a lot of people in the tech community and got engaged and met a lot of cool companies doing really interesting things. And I made a lot of friends who were like-minded and that I still talk to today, and we became really close. I recommend going if you're ever in Taiwan during December, and I'll probably go there again, maybe this December. In terms of neighborhoods, I really like staying near Taipei University because there were a lot of young people in that area and it was relatively cheaper. And I stayed at a place called Taipei Artist Village, and you can stay there 3 months at a time. You get your own room and bathroom, and it's super cheap, like $20 or $30 a night. And it's just a really cool place. I stayed at the Treasure Hill Taipei Artist Village, and there's a lot of historical things going on in that area, like tours going on the weekends, and there's little artisan shops where artists make their own clothing, or they make their own jewelry, and it's kind of like a cultural village. So that's where I stayed at for a few weeks, and I really enjoyed my time there because I met other artists as well. In terms of things to do, I would really recommend hiking up Elephant Mountain. After I hiked it up, I really loved the view at the top because you get to see the whole entire city of Taipei once you're up Elephant Mountain, and it's a really nice place to just enjoy the view and also take photos. And I really like the hike as well. It's a good way to get exercise, and that area is pretty cool underneath the mountain as well. A lot of cafes, and it's also near the main area, so there's also a night market near there as well. I really like my time in Taipei because it just felt like home to me because I could speak the language and I could also meet and talk with the locals. I could finally use Mandarin because that's not something I actually use in North America. So it did feel like home to me. I would still go there again just to experience the life there and chill, but I wouldn't say it's an ideal place for digital nomads just because I didn't meet that many digital nomads there. I would say it's a great place to spend a month to experience the culture. I really like the Taiwanese culture, the food, the art, the parks. There's also really nice parks if you are into nature. It kind of has a balance between nature and city. So it's really nice to just walk around in the parks and see everybody walking their dogs. That was something I really enjoyed. But I think as a digital nomad who comes from a Western culture, it was harder for me to meet like-minded people who were also coming from a Western culture, spending time in Taipei. It really depends on the people that you meet, and every adventure is different. So just this time that I was there, I didn't happen to meet people organically, but I did end up meeting a lot of cool people through going to events like Taipei Blockchain Week. Otherwise, I'll be posting videos every single week about different locations I've been and things that I'm learning along the way. So if you're interested in more videos like this about digital nomading or about a certain city, comment below on where you would like to see and I'll make a video about it. Meanwhile, subscribe so you don't miss any updates on the channel, and I'll see you next time.